morning, threes and fours. Today we are going to focus on food and nutrition in a new area of our health lessons. Over the next couple of lessons, we will explore what foods we should be eating in our diet and use that information to design and code a game on Scratch. At the end of the upcoming lessons, we should be left with a game that helps us practice choosing healthy foods, which we will then try to implement in real life. So these are our learning objectives of the day. First, becoming familiar with the Australian Guide to Healthy Eating, learning about all 5 food groups, reflecting on our food choices, and beginning to think about foods for our Scratch game. Today, we are going to learn about food and nutrition and work towards an idea of how to eat more healthily. Let's look at this pie chart called the Australian Guide to Healthy Eating. Has anyone seen this before? This was made with advice from doctors and nutritionists for the government to help Australians make healthy food choices. It shows us what a healthy diet for everyone should look like. And as we can see here, there are 5 main food groups that we should be eating from every day. This includes grains, vegetables, fruits, dairy, and lean meats. First up, we have our vegetables, which contain things like lettuce, cucumbers, and mushrooms. These are great because they are low in kilojoules and rich in nutrients and fiber. Next, we have our grains, which contain foods like pasta, bread, and rice. These help to keep us more full for a longer period of time. Then we have our fruits such as apples, oranges, and bananas, which contain a lot of nutrients that help us from getting sick. And then our protein foods such as chicken or fish, which contain amino acids that help the body repair and regenerate its cells. And lastly, we have our dairy, which are things like cheeses, milks, and yogurts that contain calcium to help keep our bones strong. Now let's take a look at this chart again. Do we notice how some section of the food groups are larger than others? Why do we think that is? That is because there are some foods that we should be eating more of than others, such as grains and vegetables. They take up a bigger slice of the circle, and as such, each will take around 1/3 of our daily diet. Additionally, there are some foods that we all eat every day, like chips or soft drinks. Why do we think it does not have a slice in our diet? This is because it has been classified as an only sometimes and in small amounts food, as these foods typically contain high amounts of sugar and sodium, which is not considered healthy as they do not provide us with a lot of the important nutrients that help us grow and become stronger. Now, it's okay for us to eat them every now and then, but since it does not take up a lot of space on the chart, it should not be taking up too much space in our daily diets either. So, from this chart, we have learned that everyone should try to eat from all the food groups every day, as it gives us ideas of the healthy and nutritious foods that we should be consuming to help us grow, give us energy, develop our bones and muscles, and help our brains think more clearly. For today's activity, we are going to fill out these food chart worksheets. What I want you to do is to think about everything that you ate yesterday, and I want you to try and draw the foods inside the right food group. But first off, I will show you how to do it first. For example, yesterday I had an apple, which I will put inside the fruit section. For lunch, I had pasta, which goes into grains. And finally, I had some hot chips, which should go in the only sometimes food category. Alright, now it's your turn. Please take one of these worksheets and draw the food that you ate yesterday inside the correct sections. Once you are done, please take a photo of your worksheet and upload it to Google Classroom. Now, before we finish off, could you please take another look at your chart because we will be answering some reflection questions. The first question is, which food group did you eat the most of? Then, which food group did you not eat enough of? And finally, what is one more thing you could eat or do tomorrow to make your food choices even healthier? This could maybe be eating some more vegetables, or perhaps cutting out ice cream. Thank you for listening to our first lesson. We are one step closer to becoming food champions. In our next lesson, we will begin to design our game on Scratch.